Okay, so today we want to review the Maven C1s. These are the 12 by 42s against the Vortex Diamondback 12 by 50s. Okay, so real quick, just a couple disclaimers before we get this going. We're definitely with this review not trying to say this is the best binocular, right? Obviously, if you need the best and if you've got money to spend, go with some of that higher end glass. This review is mainly for someone that's trying to get the best bang for their buck, and see if spending an extra 160 or so on the C1s is worth it over buying the Diamondbacks. Okay, so just a quick little overview of both pairs of binoculars. The C1s I bought straight off the Maven website. I got the demo pair, that way I could kind of do this comparison and decide if I wanted to send them back or keep them. They were $371 after all was said and done with shipping. These Diamondbacks, I found them brand spanking new for $207, so about $160 difference. But more than me giving you my opinions, what we really want to do with this review is show you some footage through both optics, some pictures. That way you can kind of see the difference and compare for yourself if the Mavens are worth $160 more than the Diamondbacks.
So what I really wanted to do with this review was show you some pictures that I've been able to capture through both of the binoculars. That way you can kind of see the differences for yourself rather than me just telling you. So for the first comparison, the top of this mountain here is right around a mile away. And these pictures were taken about 30 seconds apart. You can tell in the C1s, it looks like it's starting to get dark, whereas for the Diamondbacks, it pretty much looks like midday. Now this isn't a completely fair comparison since the C1s have a 42mm objective lens, and the Diamondbacks have a 50mm objective lens. So I guess a more fitting comparison would be the Maven C3s. However, you'd have to keep in mind that the C3s are $50 more and have about 10 feet lesser field of view than the C1s. So another big difference here you can see is the edge-to-edge clarity. With the Mavens, you can see that it's pretty clear all the way over to the edge. But if you look at the Diamondbacks there on that top picture, it starts getting pretty blurry as you get close to the edge. Now with that being said, the Diamondbacks do have about 10 feet greater field of view than the C1s do, so it ends up pretty much canceling each other out. Now here with this comparison, I basically just zoomed in on both pictures, but I've circled two different spots where you can tell a pretty big difference between the two binoculars. So look at that top circle on both. I've circled a bush there. You can see through the Diamondbacks, it's significantly clearer than on the Mavens. If you look at that bottom circle, through the Diamondbacks, you can tell that there's a little tree or a bush there in front of the rocks. Whereas with the Mavens, you can't even tell that there's a bush there. It looks like it just blends right in with the rocks. So there is a pretty good comparison at long distance. Remember, that bush there on top is right around a mile. Okay, so for the next comparison here, this house is about 1,100 yards away, which is just about 2/3 of a mile. If you want, you can go ahead and pause this picture and kind of pick out the differences for yourself. But what I want to do is go to the next one, which is just a zoomed in image of these two pictures. Okay, so with this one, there's really two things that I want to talk about. The first one, obviously I have circled there in both pictures that little section of the fence in front of the house. The Diamondbacks, you can easily see the individual pickets. You can see the gaps in between. It's pretty clear. But with the Mavens, it's all just kind of blurred over. You couldn't even tell that there were individual pickets there. Obviously, that's going to make a big difference when you're glassing up some deer at 1,500 yards and you see a buck. You want to know whether it's worth chasing or not. I'm pretty confident with the Diamondbacks you'd be able to see that clearly, whereas with the Mavens, I'm not so sure. The second thing that I wanted to talk about is what's called chromatic aberration. It's basically just like how much the colors blend or the color fringing. The Mavens definitely have the edge here. I've noticed it pretty much every time that I've tested the two together. Take a look at the top of the house, right to the right of the chimney. You can see there in the snow, right where the snow meets the backdrop. There's that little bluish green little tint there, whereas with the Mavens, it's pretty crisp and clear. It clearly cuts off and there's no real color fringing. Okay, so obviously the big question is, which binoculars are the better bang for your buck under $400? So hopefully you're able to kind of see the pros and cons of each binocular in this video. I don't want to, tell you which one is better or which one you should choose. Hopefully you're able to see which one you like. However, for me personally, and before I say this, I want you to know that I have no reason whatsoever to be biased towards one or the other. I actually ordered the C1s after seeing a ton of good reviews, and kind of seeing the hype around them. I ordered them with full intentions of being totally blown away and keeping those as my main binocular. However, we did 4 or 5 side-by-side comparisons just like this, where we took pictures and videos through each set of binoculars, and then compared them right next to each other, and we got the exact same results every single time. Now, obviously, there were things that I liked better about the Mavens, and I pointed those out in the video. However, for the most part, I liked the Diamondbacks, and so for me personally, I don't think they're worth an extra $160, and I actually ended up sending my Mavens back, and I'll be keeping the Diamondbacks. But that concludes our review. We want to thank you so much for watching, and definitely hope that you got something out of it.